Hello there guys, it's me Unstable Voltage and welcome to episode 9 of Civilization Beyond Earth. We're playing as Franco-Iberia and I haven't really decided what victory type that I'm going for yet. I still think it's probably going to be either the supremacy specific victory, which would be the emancipation victories. I do think I have slightly more, well considerably more Phyrexite around than I do floatstone, although I do have access to a little bit of floatstone. The other option possibly is going for the scientific victory, the contact victory, which is something that I've never actually done. I could actually do that by going for transcendental math and trying to do that, but I don't know, when I tried that in my first sort of games of playing this, I think that was one of the things that was a little bit bugged, but we'll certainly give it a go. As for what's happening at the moment, got my new city up and running here, Grand Exito. It has been a week or so since I played, so I've kind of forgotten really where I was going with everything and what I was doing. Still very much a possibility that we may end up going to war with the Slavic Federation here. I don't think they will pose much of a threat. They don't have an awful lot, to be quite honest. All these units up here are part of the African Federation, they do, or the African Union, whichever this particular civilization is called. So yeah, they are potential cities that I could take. They don't have an awful lot going for them, sadly. Uzbek here does have a source of wrestling and 2 sources of titanium, so it wouldn't be a terrible production-based city. And then we've got Krabrost over here that has a little bit of xenomass, some chitin, some fibre, but other than that, there's some fungus, but it is a bit of a crappy city. It's even out of range of that coral. So if they declare war on me, I may well take a city or 2. But at the moment, I'm actually on 0 health, so I do need to get that back up before I can do anything else. So let's go ahead and hit next turn and see that we do still have some people moving around. We've actually got a declaration of friendship offer from the KTP, so let's go ahead and accept that. There's no reason not to at this point, and if we do need to sell some stuff, we can. This explorer, do I have him around for a specific reason? I probably really should have watched the previous video that I made to try and work out exactly why I had that guy in the first place. Ah yes, I think I was taking him up here to see if that resource pod was still there. It probably isn't. He's probably going to get destroyed by sea dragons if he tries to go across the water, but we'll see what we can do. So Ainsa has now finished producing a marine. That was right. I was trying to get a few military units out just in case we do go to war. It's certainly worth having some. I think it's probably also worth having another gunboat or 2 just so we can... Well, actually, no, we can't even get around onto that side from here, so maybe the gunboat isn't such a good idea. Although having 1 or 2 about isn't a terrible idea. We do have 1 over there, so maybe I'm not going to go for the gunboat over here. I'm actually going to go ahead and change my mind. Let's have a look at the queue. And what could we have instead? What could be useful for us here? I guess getting something like more armor wouldn't be a bad idea. We pretty much have everything built that we can build here. So let's go ahead and get ourselves more armor. And then I'll just remove that. I'll actually let that gunboat complete, I think. We'll let it complete anyway. But what I might just do is just change the order on the list and do it like that. That seems fine. What else do we have? We've got this explorer. You were making your way over in this direction as best as I can tell. So there are a few units here from the Slavic Federation. They are quite difficult to tell from the African Union ones. I'm not too sure how well the colours show up on YouTube, but they're very sort of similar. It's sort of a dark red and an orange versus a slightly paler red and a yellow colour. But yeah, these troops are the ones from the Slavic Federation. They don't seem to have all that many. I mean, they literally just have a couple of rangers, some armour, and a marine. I think if they did try and attack me, I probably could beat them, but no point attacking unless we need to. We do have another marine up here, which I may well move forwards. Try and keep marines in most of my cities where I can. I think for now, well, we are going to have to move you out anyway. We'll put you next to prosperity, because we are going to have that combat rover pop out over there. So let's go on to the next turn then. We've still got this thing where the AI just moves its units around. KTP wants open borders. I'm going to refuse because there's absolutely no benefit for me doing that right now. So these units do seem to be taking lots of damage from sitting in miasma. If they want to do that, let them. They can go ahead. A little bit worried about Grand Exito over here. What I may do, and I'm very much considering doing that actually, is I'm going to take this marine And it does take a little while to get there, because they have to kind of go all the way around. But I am going to move over there and put this new marine into prosperity. And then that will give us a little bit more protection. I may even think about having to move some of my tac jets over there. We'll have to see how that works. One thing that I've said before about this game, the problem that it does have, even since the patch, because it hasn't really changed that, is that cities are very, very squishy, and it's quite possible to have war declared on you and then literally lose a city on the turn war is declared, so it's a little bit of a pain. But I don't think they can get to that too easily, because this is a hill, and this is a hill, and that's a hill, and that's a mountain, so they'd really, really struggle to try and take it in one turn. So maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to rebase some tac jets there. If they have the range, rebase mode, we can. We'll put at least one in there. We may not need both of them in there, but certainly having one would help. This worker, what are we going to do with you? Would be nice to get some petroleum running, but we don't actually have any health, any positive health. So that's not going to be too great for us doing that. Is there anything else that I could and should upgrade quickly? Is there anything here that looks like it should be a priority? Not that I can see. Guess we could go ahead and build another farm or two. Are we? 1, 2, 3. No, we won't actually ever reach that for Axite, which is a little bit of a shame. Let's come down here and just get another farm built. You are once again going to continue your way around. It's a little bit of a trick because you've got to work your way through a bit of miasma, but we'll see if we can get you back. This worker, you are going to construct a mine on the titanium, because that will give us a lot of extra production here, which will be really, really good for us. Trade convoy. Okay, so we had a couple of previous routes that were expired. We could go to our new colony. Oh no, you weren't going there. You were going to... Where were you going to? Ah, to our city down here. And you were sending it some production. Is that a bad thing? I don't... Well, we certainly want to keep the one going to Camp Cascade, because that's giving us 24 energy per turn. So we'd be absolutely mental if we didn't go for that. As for the other one, do we want to continue with this, or do we want to push on somewhere else? Sending out 7 production... I mean, this is from our capital. Do we really need to get more food in the capital? Difficult. Well, it's not a capital. Of course, the capital, isn't it? So, let's... Do we want to build the capital? No, I think we'll carry on with that one for now. Just try and get our weaker cities caught up. There's no point trying to grow too quickly, especially as we already have 0 health, so... Hopefully we'll be able to get a new virtue soon, which will allow us to increase our health a little bit. Still the AI moving lots of units around, taking damage from it. That's fine. If they want to lose all of their units to the miasma, I don't have a problem with that. Still a little bit tricky to get around these guys because they're standing in a very stupid place. Yeah, I can't even get around them if I go that way, really. That's a bit of a shame. I'll have to come back and just wait for them to move. Constructions. Prosperity has finished the armour. We could go ahead and get a vivarium here. Again, it's extra growth, though, which we don't necessarily need. I think I'm going to build a couple of attack jets, just in case any of the AI do decide that it would be fun and interesting to try and attack me. Let's go ahead here and get a clinic. It will give us 2 health, although it is local health. You have to remember that we have a population here of 3, and it only has a health of 1. Now, we would get 2 health from the clinic, so that's fine, but then there's no point going over that 3 health until we get more than 3 citizens, but we can get another couple of health there in 5 turns. Got another trade convoy here. You were trading with Megon. Now, we weren't actually getting any science from Megon now. It's literally just energy, so if we want to keep trading, is it worth swapping cities just so we can get a little bit more? Get 5 energy and 1 science. We don't want to go for this one because it would actually be giving them 3 science. This way only gives them 2. We could trade with these guys, but again, it's only 1 science. It's not a huge amount of science. Do I need the extra 5 energy? Yeah, let's give it a go for a little while. It'll give us a bit of a sort of a modifier, and they might like us a little bit more. This tac jet we're just going to put here in air intercept mode. We've got a stacked unit, of course, because we now have this... what do we have here? We have the armour. I think we're actually going to come and put you down here. And the marine can stay on fortify. Let's go on to the next turn. I just really would like to be able to get my explorer through and see if I can go and get that resource pod. It's going to be a little bit tricky. Yep, so he's happy that we're exchanging goods. So he may be less willing to attack me now. I'm not sure whether he was coming to attack me. I'm not too sure the way the AI works in this game. And there we go, we get tactical robotics, so we can produce cinders as well as we get another level of our affinity. We've actually gone up to level 5. We were level 3. So we can now build the cinder. We can build neurolabs in the cell cradle and optical surgery. Optical surgery is nice because that gives you a lot of health. Choose research. Let's see if we can get the transcendental equation. We do need to go for transcendental math because that allows us to work on the transcendental equation. So let's go ahead and queue that up. So we might actually get the contact victory here. Couple of upgrades. We can actually upgrade our gunboats to cruisers. Now we can either have 20% against land units or 20% against sea units. Now it's really, really difficult because there isn't a lot of sea combat in this game, but I do tend to use the gunboats more for getting rid of Krakens and Sea Dragons than for attacking the AI, particularly if they don't have a lot of coastal cities. So I think the extra 20% against sea units is probably more useful, and that's what I'm going to go for. Missile rovers, not even sure if I've got any of those yet. You get two options for that one. You can either have a plus 30% when attacking cities, or plus 20% against land units. Well, let's be honest, it is artillery, and artillery is normally always used for taking out cities, so let's go for that. We have our cinders now. No upgrade, but it's just showing it there because we've now unlocked that unit. We will be definitely building a couple of those. Let's go ahead and get a farm going here. We've still got this guy standing around in miasma. I'm going to move him up here until he gets the opportunity to sort of cut across in this direction, if that's ever going to happen. Another trade convoy. It's still something you do have to micromanage quite a lot. You were going to Ain't So and helping it grow. That's not a bad idea. We'll just carry on with that for now. It seems like a reasonable trade route. We will get a couple of trade routes at our newest city, of course. We're using 2 of 2 here, 2 of 2, 2 of 2, 0 of 2 at Fidel, 0 of 0 at Grand Exeter. So we can actually get a couple of additional trade routes going. So maybe once Liqueur has finished whatever it's building, then we can go ahead and get some more trade routes built. This armor, where was I sending you? Was I actually sending you to that tile? I've got a feeling I probably was. I'm just going to leave you there to heal up. You're not in miasma, I don't believe. Oh, plains. No, you're fine. Okay, on to the next turn then. So we're just coming up to turn 200. So it is a standard pace game, which is 500 turns. I see that the transcendental equation has just been completed there by the Slavic Federation. We've completed the precog project. That gives us +2 culture and +2 health. It also gives us some better combat strength for our cities. That's quite nice. So we are in positive health, even though it is only slightly. What do we want to go over here and build at Liqueur? Well, there's probably no point building a repair facility. So let us go ahead and work on... Now, what do I want? Do I want ships or do I want land routes? I guess we could go and get another trade vessel. What I might be tempted to do... Can we get around that south coast? Yes, I might actually take this this ship and go around the south here just to reveal some of the sea, because we might find we can have some extra trade routes around if we actually go all the way around the coast, because there are bits here that we haven't uncovered, which means we can't actually travel through them to make a trade route. So I'll go ahead and do that. That should be fine. Still trying to decide whether or not it's worth settling another city down here. There's only 2 Ferrexite here. It probably isn't worth it, but I'll definitely keep my eye on that. You're just going to stay there and heal up. You haven't been attacked, have you? You seem to have lost more health from somewhere. Quite certain this isn't miasma. Don't think you were attacked by an alien. Not too sure why you seem to have lost more health. Keep my eye on that. You have now completed that algae, which is quite nice. Let's go ahead and get a couple more farms up just to keep them busy. I will go ahead and get that petroleum at some point, but I will have to wait until we are in a slightly better position to do that. Let's go on to the next turn. And I would like to get optical surgeries as soon as transcendental math science is done. We'll actually go ahead and start working on the research needed to get the optical surgeries, because that's really going to help with the with the happiness or the health situation. So we've discovered Shackleton, 1 culture, 1 production and 2 science. And let's not forget that would also give us gold as well from our virtue. A little bit too far away to reach though, so I'm not too worried about that. Prosperity has completed a tac jet. We could go for a neurolab. Now, neurolab would give us extra science from Phyrexite. It's not a bad idea. So let's go ahead and do that. We can always get another tac jet later on. I think keeping the 1 here for now is probably okay. Simply because there's such a bottleneck for any enemy troops trying to get into this city. And if it does get attacked, we can always move 1 tac jet across. Unfortunately, you can only house 3 aircraft in 1 city in Beyond Earth, but that is not too bad. So we've got that fruit connected up. Let's go over here and get the copper next. That'll be quite useful for us. We are going to have to grow this city quite quickly. Going to sort of carefully work my way down here just because I don't know what is around. There's some titanium down there. I mean, you could have a relatively good city down here. We get floatstone, wrestling, titanium, fibers. I'm just not necessarily sure if it's worth it. Because remember, you do get the same sort of penalties that you would get in... You do get the same sort of penalties that you would get in Civilization 5. And that is that the more cities you have, the more expensive the techs become, and also the more expensive your virtues or social policies become. So you do have to be a little bit careful there. Let's carry on with that trade route, because it's getting us lots of money. It's making a quite decent amount of energy now, actually. You were going to go ahead and build a farm. Armour, have we just completed you? Yeah, you can just go on to alert there. Let's go on to the next turn then. Again, lots of units jockeying for position, but they're still losing health. I mean, this African Union combat rover is almost dead. I think it's probably got about 2 turns left, standing in the miasma. Right, she's a little bit upset because she's Harmony and I'm not, even though we've had practically no interactions for the entire game. These guys are just going to stay there. City connection established. That is fantastic. Failed siphoning. That's a shame. Who are we trying to siphon from? From those guys. We were detected, but I don't think we were identified. We could go somewhere else, but I think we will carry on trying to steal some money from them. We've got people on counterintelligence as well. As for production, Liqueur has finished a trade vessel. Let's go ahead and work on at least 1 more trade vessel here. So we should have a spare trade vessel. You're going to continue going on and uncovering some of the sea. We do have that trade vessel. Now, we're full of routes here, so we're going to send you down to Fidel. Can't send it to Grand Exeter because we don't have the trade building there that we need right now. So on to the next turn. So we're into the 200s now. We are getting there. Still at positive health. There we go. Look, you see African Union's missile rover. That might have been the same unit. You want to go to war with the KTP. I've got no interest in that agreement because obviously we are friends with the KTP now. If we actually did that, then we'd be a backstabber. Quite strange that one moment she's basically having a bit of a go at us because we're not Harmony, and then she wants us to go to war with somebody. We have managed to steal some science. We stole 231. It's not a huge amount, but it is nice. And we did go undetected as well. So let's go in again. Let's see if we can steal. We could try and recruit defectors, but let's see if we can steal a technology. That would be really nice if that happens. Yep, agent undetected. Might even be able to get their city to flip. That would be good. So we've got that clinic. That gives us a little bit more health. Now, as I said, we could go and build something like a gene garden, which would give us +2 health, but we can only have a maximum of 3 health in this city because it only has a population of 3. Well, on the next turn, it will have a population of 4. Either way, it's probably a little bit pointless in building the gene gardens right now, especially, well, most of these things. We could go ahead and build a network. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Recycler would give it some additional production as well. Don't think it needs the ultrasonic fence. I'm going to go ahead and get the network because the extra science and culture will be quite useful for us. You're going to get that mine up and running. Now, I'm not really micromanaging tile assignments in this game. Don't really feel that I need to at this point, unless I've got a city that's doing particularly badly, but I think we are okay. So you have gone and got that titanium connected up. That's quite nice. I think we're going to go down here now and work on the geothermal. I will actually have a look what you're working, because this city does only have a population of 1. It would be absolutely fantastic if we could work the tile with the titanium, but of course there's very, very little food around here right now, so it is actually going to grow quite slowly. We may need to get a sort of a food-focused building in there. Once the old Earth relic is done, it is growing quite slowly. So that trade vessel has arrived. So we do have a couple of options to places that we could go to. Let's continue to trade with Magan. No, they're not too far away, but we do need to try and get some additional science coming in. Now, I believe they do have another coastal city down here somewhere. Actually, maybe they don't. I mean, we should be able to trade with Neat Tin, but the reason we can't do that is because we don't have a route there. So if we carry on moving this gunboat down here, we should be able to do that. We just need to make sure that we are nice and safe and not too far, not too close to any sort of nasty alien types. So we finished another trade vessel. Let's go ahead and build another attack jet just for the time being. Gran Exito has finished its old Earth relic. Now, it would be nice over here to get something that helps its growth and helps its food, simply because it doesn't have an awful lot of food here. So I could build a lot of these buildings. They are going to take an awful long time to build. What I'm thinking about doing, and I'm very, very much thinking about doing it if I can afford it, is going in and just doing a straight up purchase of a vivarium, because it's only 340. So that means that the city actually gets some food. And then assigning the population to the high production tile, and that will really speed up the rate at which it can build things. So then we can go in and build a clinic, for example. In fact, let's get the trade depot going, because the quicker we can get the trade depot going, the quicker we can get some more food going into it, so that's not a bad idea. Finally, those guys have moved their units out of the flipping way, and I can actually start to move around here with this explorer. This trade vessel, of course, is going to have to go down to Fidel. Why does Ainsa have a trade route slot available? I was actually quite sure when I checked all of these that we were at... Have I moved one that I shouldn't have moved? I'm sure they were all on 2 of 2. I don't recall losing one. I'm not at war with anybody, am I? Am I in a war that I hadn't noticed? No, I'm not in a war. And I shouldn't have lost it to aliens. I don't really know what happened there. Ah, is it because of this one? It's quite possible it's that one, that it just wasn't counting it because it wasn't running. Let's just try that again. Yeah, there we go. 2 of 2, 1 of 2, 0 of 0. There we go. We are at our full number. A little bit confusing, that interface. It doesn't always show properly what you would expect it to. You want geothermal and me to open my borders for favours. How about no? There's absolutely no... Not like Civilization 5, where trade is a very important thing because you need to trade luxury resources and get lots of money. You just don't need to do that in Beyond Earth, which is a shame. I did enjoy the... Oh, look at that. We've just become a much more supremacy-style city. I did really enjoy the diplomacy in Civilization 5. I know a lot of people said that it was pretty terrible, and I admit it wasn't all that fleshed out, but it's certainly better than it is in Beyond Earth. Unit needing orders. You have finished that farm. We've got some positive health now. I think we will actually go over here and get the petroleum. It will allow us to build some satellites when we need to. You can actually embark, so let's go ahead. Hope there's nothing nasty in the water. We'll probably discover something. You're going to connect up the geothermal. This city has grown now, so you're going to continue to work the geothermal for the food. That is an excellent idea. Carry on doing that. And this trade vessel. Now, not many places that you can go to, so I think we will actually go to our capital and send in a lot of production, because that is primarily where we will build our wonders and the transcendental equation when it has completed the research on the next turn. But we're over the 20-minute mark, so I'm going to call that the end of the video. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you are still enjoying Civilization Beyond Earth, and I'll see you on the next video. So until then, goodbye for now.